Go the Distance, Chapter 25, Ultimatums. Meg reappeared seconds later in Hades' throne room. An extra-large furnace, a gateway to Tartarus, was pumping off heat while Hades' music of choice, low sounds of moaning and wails, created an ambiance of gloom. Pain and panic deposited her in the center of the room, where she found Hades sitting on his usual throne of bones. He pointed to her. "You're alive." "Appears that way," Meg said. Her foot twitched. She needed to find Katerina before time ran out. "My mistake." Hades snapped his fingers and smoke unfurled toward her. "But that can easily be fixed." Meg needed to think fast. "Don't you want to know why Hera sent me here?" The smoke stopped in midair. "Let me think about that a second." "Nope." The smoke started winding its way around her legs. "Just like I could care less about your mother." "My mother?" Meg looked at him, and the smoke tightened and lifted her into the air. Hades rolled his eyes, and with a flick of his wrist, Meg fell toward the furnace. "Came by when I was with the Fates, interrupting my meeting, by the way, crying about how she needed to see you this time, blah, blah, blah." "This time?" Meg repeated. "You always said my mother didn't know I was here last time." Being so close yet so far from Thea had been torture when she had been in the underworld doing Hades' bidding. She knew the whole time? "Maybe I forgot to actually place a veil and she was all alerted, okay? Big deal," Hades huffed. "You didn't stick around anyway, so what was the use in telling you she lived in Asphodel Unit C-23,762? Meg's jaw dropped. Had she passed that building today? The yellow of Hades' eyes blazed. "Hey, it's all good. Now, you can bunk next to her. Have a good reunion, Nutmeg." The smoke pulled her to the door of the furnace. It opened on its own, and Meg could feel heat licking at her heels. She was toast unless she did something. "I told Katerina everything," she blurted out. The smoke paused. "And who is Katerina?" Meg gritted her teeth as flames singed the hair of her legs. "She's Aegis's wife." Hades didn't say anything. "My former flame?" Former flame, Hades muttered. "Knowing you have a lot of exes out there." "You know which one I mean. Katerina's death was an accident, not part of the cosmic plan. Hera wants her back. If you don't do as they say, you'll... What could she threaten him with? "There'll be consequences." "Consequences, huh?" Hades zipped up her in seconds, his sinister face inches from her own. "I've already faced consequences. That's how I wound up running this place, and now that I am, there's nothing they can do to me down here. I literally let the Titans out to wreak havoc and run amok, and look who's back wheeling and dealing in the underworld. I'm in charge of the souls that come down here," he roared. Not my brother or his wife." "Why doesn't Katerina remember her old life then?" Meg tried a new tack. "Did you make her forget?" "Forget?" Hades' smoke loosened slightly. "Why would I do that? Because her life was abysmally boring? I don't make people forget the past. Their pain feeds me, babe." Meg didn't understand. "Why doesn't she remember her family then?" "Who knows?" Hades said. "I'm not a therapist. Maybe she's so upset her brain blocked it out, or maybe it was a divine mistake. It happens." A divine mistake. If Katerina had been killed in a flood created by the gods' battle, maybe her memory loss was an inadvertent side effect. That could be another reason why the gods wanted to undo their mistake. Either way, I don't go around erasing people's memories, kid. I'm a nice guy when I want to be." "Nice?" Meg spat. "You refused to let go of her soul so she could reunite with her loved ones." Hades shrugged. "Yeah, well, love is a fickle thing, isn't it? One minute you have it and the next it's gone. Or someone is trying to say you can't be together because you live in different zip codes." He bared his teeth. "No one said life or death is fair." The furnace roared blood red, as did Hades' head. "Bye, Meglet." The smoke prepared to drop her into the flames, just as the doors to Hades' throne room flew open. A woman with dark hair came running into the room. I couldn't stay away any longer. What did they say? Did you convince them to... Hey. She noticed Meg about to be thrown into the furnace and slipped and stopped talking. It's you. Meg did a double take. And you. Do you know each other? Hades cut in. My love, I was just about to burn Meggykins at the stake. Can this wait? Burn who? The woman put her hands on her hips. Her? No, you put her down this instant. Hades looked from Meg to the woman in surprise, and Meg noticed the flames on his head flicker. No, you don't understand. I don't care if I understand. Put her down. She saved my whole bed of hydrangeas this afternoon. You're not tossing her in the furnace. Hades hesitated. But, Meg stared. She had never heard him this docile before. The woman pursed her lips. Put her down, Hades, and just talk to me. Hades sighed. Fine. He flicked his wrist and the smoke uncoiled. The furnace flames dropped to barely a flicker. Just know she had it coming. Meg fell to the ground with a painful thump. She really hated when he did that. The woman walked over and offered her a hand. Thank you for the help earlier, she said with a smile. I'm Persephone, and you are? Meg accepted her help. Persephone? You're Demeter's daughter? She realized. You're the one the gods on Mount Olympus are looking for? A look of panic came over Persephone's face. Who are you? She looked at Hades. Who is she? She asked, her voice rising. Hades smiled smugly. This is who you just interrupted me from roasting. Megara. You know, the one who ruined my plan to overthrow Zeus? Persephone spun around and stared at Meg. Her? She started to back up. That means you're with Hercules and you're alive, which means when you leave here, you could tell the other gods where I am. She moved further away. My mother will find me and take me away. With that, she ran to Hades and grabbed his hands. We'll be done for. Hey, now, it's all right, said Hades as he brought her in close. We won't let her. Meg gaped. This wasn't like Hades at all. Sure, he was still threatening her life, but he seemed to actually be concerned for someone who wasn't himself. What did the fates have to say? Persephone whispered. Hades' face was grim. I don't want you getting upset. I'm already upset. They don't know everything. They do know everything. What did they say? Hades hesitated, and Persephone put her hands on his cheeks. Tell me. Hades sighed. We're not exactly seeing eye to eye on things. In fact, I thought about making sure they never saw anything again. Hades? I know I didn't. I'm just saying I thought about it. So, what was their prediction? Persephone searched Hades' face. Is there a future for us or not? Her lower lip quivered. They said some riddle about the earth being the only hope for you. Persephone gasped. But who cares what they think? Hades said, his voice rising. No one knows you're here. We're safe. He looked at Meg, a smile spreading across his gray lips. At least we were before Meg here showed up. Persephone looked at her, and Meg started to back away. Whatever bond they formed in the meadows was clearly not enough to save her now. Why do you think I was about to get rid of her? Hades asked. Persephone folded her arms. Your mother is part of the Olympus crew. If we let Meg out, she's going to go running to that beefy boyfriend of hers and Papa Zeus and Demeter, and everyone else will show up to take you away. No, Persephone whispered, eyeing Meg worriedly. I wouldn't tell anyone, Meg swore. Who are you going to believe, Persephone looked intently at Meg. Toss her in the fire. Hades grinned, and smoke began to seep out of his hands again. With pleasure, my love. Meg had only seconds to make a decision. I can help you stay together. The moment the words left her lips, she knew the cost might be too high, but it was her only move left to play. Stop, Persephone said, and Hades' smoke disappeared. She's just stalling, he complained. How could she help us? I heard Aphrodite and Demeter talking about you when I was on Mount Olympus. Meg appealed to Persephone. Your mother isn't desperate to find you. She's worried. Yes, because she doesn't understand my love for Hades. She wants me harvesting solely on Earth, and I want to be here with him. Persephone put a hand on his fleshy gray arm. If she finds me, she'll take me away. Meg licked her lips, which felt dry in all this heat, and thought fast. Persephone had been gardening in the underworld. She clearly missed at least a portion of her old life, even if for some unfathomable reason she wanted to be with Hades. What if there was a way for her to have it all? What if you compromised? Offered to spend half of the year tending to the gardens on Earth, and the other half here in the underworld with Hades? Persephone and Hades looked at one another. Why would Demeter agree to that? Hades asked. Because she wants her daughter to be happy, Meg said. Demeter would still get to see Persephone would still get to be with you, and Persephone could have everything she loves. It's a win-win-win, if the gods agree to that, that is. So what? You want me to pray? Persephone rolled her eyes. Prayers don't always work, especially when it's one god praying to another god. Maybe not, but what if I could make a god appear here so we could appeal to them in person? Meg pulled the orchid out of her satchel. This orchid makes whatever god I call on appear. There's one last petal which I can use to call upon Mount Olympus and appeal on your behalf. Persephone's gaze flickered to the flower. And what do you get in return for doing this for us? She wants to bring a soul back to the land of the living, Hades explained, looking troubled, as if I'd ever let that happen. Who is it? Persephone asked, curious. Which soul? Meg took a deep breath. Her name is Katerina Demas. She's the woman my first love left me for. Persephone's eyes flashed. Tell me everything.